everyone, and Shavua Tov. We're in Parashat Tetsaveh. And this is not just Parashat Tetsaveh, it's also Shabbat Zakhor, this coming Shabbat, which is a very, 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 very important, and I hope we'll be able to cover both of them. So, Parashat Tetsaveh is an immediate continuation of Parashat Terumah. What did we say Parashat Terumah? Parashat Terumah is a kind of aftermath of the 6 Parashot of Shovavim. Whoever was not with us during this time, Shovavim was about the 6 first parashot of the book of Exodus. That was about getting out of Egypt. Now, if we want to get to the spiritual aspect and not the historical aspect, getting out of Egypt means getting out of slavery. Slavery to what? Anything that we're enslaved to. It's body consciousness, it's emotions, hurt from the past, habits, all kinds of stuff that disturb. You know, Pharaoh in Hebrew is also with different, with the same like in English, Pharaoh, Afra'ah, means disturbance. What disturbs us from becoming the person we want to become? That's the basic thing. Okay? Why does it have to be? So when you study Kabbalah, you know that in the beginning, we were created in the image of God. What does it mean? We want to create, and therefore we can't get free gifts. Therefore, in order to manifest the power that each of one of us that has inside, we have to overcome obstacles. The biggest and the only real obstacle is our own dark side. You call it evil inclination, you call it the body consciousness, you call it Pharaoh, you call it Egypt, which means in Hebrew the narrow place. You know, you can call it Sandy, you can call it Bob, whatever you want to call the dark side that each one of us carry with us, give it a name. But at least you have to give it a name, because you have to realize that that part of your consciousness is not the real, authentic yourself. Okay? And that's therefore, you can never achieve your life goals as long as you identify yourself with that slave within you. What do I mean a slave within you? Like, very simple. Normal people, and I think 99% and even more of people on this earth, when they wake up, if they slept well, and you come nicely to them and you sit next to them and you say, how do you want to feel today? How many people will tell you, can't wait to hate someone, can't wait to be angry about someone, I can't wait to feel victimized, I can't wait to be frustrated? People won't say that. Why? Because that's who we are. We want everybody wants, doesn't matter the color, the age, doesn't matter any kind of religious background, we all want to feel good. So why don't we? Because we have this terrible little voice inside that says, you see, did you hear what he said? Now you have to be upset because otherwise you're not normal. Why do I have to be a slave to that voice? This is not me. The real, authentic me wants to be happy. And wants to be happy unconditionally. No one wants to be enslaved to what people say, to what people decide, to what happens outside, whether like politically, like nothing. We want to be independently good and happy. That's who we really are. So to say that I'm identifying with the victim, with me, with the anger, whatever, you're lying. You're lying. Nobody is really an angry person. Yeah, all of us are nice people, but we have a layer of a slave that we have to unleash ourselves from that slavery. Those 6 weeks are the symbol that means Exodus is getting out to freedom. We celebrate that twice a year. Once during these 6 weeks of the first 6 parashot of the book of Shemot, of Exodus, that we read, And the second time is during the holiday of Pesach, all the way through the 7 weeks of the counting of the Omer till Shavuot, Mount Sinai Revelation, 7 weeks from Passover. So we have 2 opportunities like this during the year. Another one during the high holidays. And another one is every day. Every day you wake up in the morning and you start the fight. And if you're not fighting, you lost before even you woke up. Okay? It's all about fighting that side. Which side? Again, whoever is not that feature of the creator within each one of us. So 6 weeks were about realizing, getting out of Egypt, realizing it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. If you want to unsubscribe from that club that is called being angry, upset, a victim, it's a nice club. A lot of people love to be part of this club. The club of complainers, the club of blaming, the club. But this is not a happy club. It's not a happy club. It's a very painful club, right? Where the price is even higher because these people are more susceptible to any kind of disease floating around, from cancer to viruses, because that's part of the membership. You get it, it's a package deal. You get part of that club, you get also some bonuses, disease, so you have who to blame. The cancer, the heart disease, it goes together. It's a package deal. You want to unsubscribe from this? These are the 6 weeks. The climax is Parashat Ito, Mount Sinai Revelation, in which we have to agree that we are out of Egypt from the house of slavery. This one is the first one out of the 10 on the 2 tablets, right? Mm-hmm. Which means you go with that, you can join the other club. Which club? The club of the winners. What I mean, the winners, we take responsibility. It's nobody's fault. It's my responsibility. And therefore, I get what I earn. Easy comes, easy goes. No free lunches. You follow this rule, you are in the club of the winners. And you take yourself away from Egypt. Part of it, being free, is realizing there are rules. You eat too much, you gain weight, right? Mm-hmm. You get upset, you hurt your blood pressure, and all kinds of other stuff. It's like you have to understand these are the rules, and they apply to every human being, including you and me. Correct? Uh-huh. Okay. And that's Parashat Mishpatim, the cause and effect. No one is punishing you. No one up in heaven has something specially against you. It's all rules of cause and effect, and part of being free, the land of the free. When is the land of the free? When you respect the rules. Instead of looking at the rules, these rules were made just against me. Now the house is going to be more expensive because I have to go by the code. I don't want to go by the code. So I make the house, I build it not by code. And then you complain why the house went on fire. It's very simple. When people go by the rules, it's hard to be responsible. It's hard not to blame. Okay? The result is you're more productive. And that's Parashat Mishpatim. You got that. Now the 6 weeks are over. Parashat Turma comes. It means assume position. Turma, we said last week, was raise the hay. Who's the hay? The letter hay symbolizes our reality, which means everything that we see as our reality. That means our body, our home, our job, our financial success. All of that is the letter Hey, which means this is where we exist. This is the space we exist. Why do we have that space? Why it's called space? Okay? And the answer is that in the beginning, let's go to the beginning, and God said, let there be light. There was a night, there was a day, one day. Everything was one. Everything was perfect. What's the problem with everything is perfect? If you are created in the image of God, you can't stand things when they're perfect. You want them a little bit crooked so you can put them together and feel like, wow, I did it. So there was the tzimtzum, the contraction, and a big dark space of being created so we can fill it up with light. How do we fill it up with light? Teruma. The first thing is that whatever you have as your space, which means, again, your health, business, thoughts, emotions, you're always looking how to raise it, because Teruma means in Hebrew to raise the hay. Okay? But simplest as if you just want to simple Hebrew, people see it as contribution, as a donation. No, when you use what you have in order to make the world better, not as a good deed, not as a good deed, as a mitzvah. What's the difference between a good deed and a mitzvah? When a person is having an altruistic moment, animals also have altruistic moments, that they help each other. And you care for others just because it's nice. That's a good deed. But when you do good for others, because that is the way you draw God's light from outside the space, inside the space that was created for mankind. When we draw that light, because when I do something good, I force the light of the Creator to come into my life. That's a mitzvah. Because mitzvah comes from the word, one of the ways to explain it in a simple way is to team. Tsetaveh, team. To team what? A physical reality with a spiritual enlightenment. What does that? That's called Teruma. When you have a meaning, a spiritual, bigger meaning for every action, knowing that when I do something nice to somebody else, especially when I have to get out of the way to do that, I am, by my physical action, I raise that event to become a spiritual event, and that means that similarities attract. When I make it as a way of enlightenment for myself and for mankind or humankind, and I have that consciousness of putting in spiritual light into it, knowing that there's a quantum effect over here. I change my space. I change humanity as a space. We are all connected as one. That's called Teruma. So I'm not just building a house. I'm building a place in which I can create spiritual positive energy that will affect humanity. Okay? All of that, that's called Teruma, which means I wake up in the morning with a mission. And the mission is that every action that I do has not just a physical meaning, it has a spiritual quantum effect. So that's why the Talmud says, every action that you do, you have to realize that that action has an effect on the whole world. If you do something positive and good, you can tilt the scale, right? Just imagine, the Talmud says, that the whole world is right now exactly on the cusp between good and evil. And your action just adds enough positive light to tilt the scale for the light. And now the whole world will be lit just because you added that light. Okay? And Rabbi Ashlag adds, just you can imagine that as a sesame seeds on the scales. Right now, there are more sesame seeds on the negative one. How do you know? Look around. Who reigns supreme? Positivity or negativity? What is easier for people? To be courageous and hopeful and positive and unconditional, loving, and happy, or to get upset? What's easier? To get upset, to give up. People do it the best, right? What does that mean? That the scale with the negative is heavier than the scale of the positive. Think about it, that every time, says Rav Ashlag, did you do something positive, you add one sesame seed, you take it off the negative and you put it on the positive. And you have to think that when somebody will do the last sesame seed, the one that just you put that sesame seed and it will tip the scale. Yours could be the last one. And you know what? If it's not the last one won't be the last one without yours. Because if you didn't put yours, that won't be the last one to tilt the scale. Which means we are all connected as one. We are all right now. It's much easier to see the negative. It's much easier to believe in the negative. It's much easier to fall into the negative. However, going against the negative is the most rewarding thing in the world. Why? Because it's tough. Because it's challenging. Because it's really hard. Because you go against most of mankind. You go against the media. You go against education. You go against all kind of philosophies of science and stuff like this. Whatever, because, most people of the academy pretty dry and not kind of, inspiring. Correct? Because they just go to the details. Life is not about the details. Life is about creating that flow of positive energy. And when you understand that every action that you do, it could be like the most, that the whole base of Hasidic movement. What was it about? That every person can worship the Creator wherever he is. For instance, you are right now having a grocery store. People come and you greet them with a smile. You always tell them something nice. And that moment you bring light to little places on the planet that were dark before. Says the Zohar, Parashat Truma, when let's say in your business and you serve somebody, okay? You could be a banker. You could be a grocery store owner. It doesn't matter what. You could be a plumber, okay? But then you help somebody and you do it with so much grace and love and compassion. And you basically treat the person that at the end of the interaction, the person is like, wow, I didn't think the world could be so nice. You just bring me this like light and energy. And the Zohar, what the Zohar says, what you did at that moment, you, in the name of God, you conquered a lost space full of darkness, and now it's part of God's realm. Okay? The kingdom of heaven. Why? You made another person happy, and he now has faith in the good more than he had before. Do you know what you did, the Zohar says? It's like you created that person. Because that person was dark just a minute ago. Now, because of your treatment, he's full of light and happiness and faith and goodwill. Why? Who did it? You did it. Before that, he was better being dead. Now, he's so lively. He's really alive. Who did it? You did it. Who can do that? Every person. Could be a plumber, could be a rabbi, could be anyone. Anyone. If this is your mission every day, how would the day look like in the end? Wow, the day is today we are much better than we've been in the morning. If you feel like this, that's a meaning, that's a mission you're looking for. That's Tuma, raising the world, raising reality to its proper place. Everything that happens is for the good. How would it be for the good? It won't be by itself. You just turn it into a success story. So somebody comes to you with the weirdest problem, with the weirdest question, it's for a reason. You can turn them around with just goodwill. What did he do? Similarity attracts. The moment you create that flow from bottom to top, from beneath to above, okay, you are sticking yourself and that person and that reality into the light. Teruma, raising the hay. Okay? So now, from this story, Parashat Teruma is talking about building of the tabernacle. And as we said, V'asu mikdash, and God says, and they will make me a temple, and I will dwell in them. Look, God is not homeless. He's everywhere. But he needs us to reveal his presence in reality. Why does he need us? Because that's how he created reality. So we feel worthy because when we reveal God in his presence in our reality, we have ownership over it. We feel like I did it. So easy comes, easy goes. What do you really keep? You keep stuff that you really appreciate, that you know the worth. You feel the worth. Why? Because you know how much it costs you. The effort, the time, the energy, the overcoming the doubts and the pain and the all kinds of distractions. Right? This is it. So what is Parashat Tetsaveh? Parashat Tetsaveh is about, now we have been in the big picture of things, to connect things to reality, which means when you speak about the tabernacle, we said, it's very simple, an Englishman's home is his castle, okay? But the Torah says a person's home should be his temple, which means if you treat your home as a temple, you keep it clean, spiritual, positive. You don't say things in your home that you don't say in the temple. What? I can't just say whatever I feel like? Just a second. Comes Parashat Tetsaveh and says, your home, it starts from your body. Who's running the temple? The high priest or priestess, right? Who is that? It's you and me. Okay? Just a second. So I can't even curse when I feel like? You want to be a priest? You want to bring the holiness into everything you touch? You want to make everything specially meaningful, magical, so people really, when they touch it, says, wow, what is that? I want it too. I want to have it in my life. You can't curse. You can't just throw words just because you felt like, right? It's like, you're a priest? Oh, I don't want to be a priest. I'm sorry, you have no choice. You can choose doing it right now, and things are going to be great. Or you can choose avoiding it. Things are going to be terrible, and they're going to become even more terrible till you assume position. So, okay, I'll do my job. But people love to curse. They love, people love to curse themselves, to curse others. It's all about being irresponsible. It's all about blaming everything, being upset about everything as a first reaction to whatever is not comfortable in the meaning. And at that moment, no, it's not comfortable because it's not finished yet, right? It's not comfortable to live in an unfinished house, right? It's not comfortable to eat an unripe fruit, right? You need, part of growing up is acquiring patience. What do I mean patience? When it's not the way you want, you keep on making the effort till it is the way you want it. Instead of breaking everything and saying, I'm not playing the game anymore, enough is enough, it's going to be hellish forever, forget it. So, you just missed the train. You'll have to wait in the station till the next train is coming. Meanwhile, you stay in grade 1 for another year, another lifetime, till you decide, okay, I'm willing to live by the rules so you can go up to the next grade. Okay, it doesn't mean that you're going to assume position with everything, but now you're better off. This is what life is about. Parashat Tetsaveh is about the next level. It's all about the high priest and their jobs. Okay? We don't have that position in the temple for years already. It's already almost 2,000 years, right? Minus 50. Okay? So, why do I have to read this parasha? And the answer, as we said, it's about you and me. All of us are supposed to be priests. As it says, when the Messiah is coming, we're going to be a nation of priests. Vaytem geza kohanim vegoy kadosh, and a holy nation. So Rabbi Brandwein, Rabbi Aslak's student, is saying, just a second, let's say Mashiach is coming. We build the temple. How many people can serve in the temple? You can't have millions of people serving in the temple. So this is not realistic. So what are you talking about? And he explains, when every person does his job like a high priest, sometimes you meet a plumber or a smith or, people that are doing like simple jobs, but they do it with awe. You feel that perfectionism, that holiness, they really revere their job. God gave in my hands something that can help people's life to be better. And I'm really appreciating my job, because if God gave me that job, I really have to appreciate and respect it. And I have to bring in that light into whatever I touch, because that's my job. And when people are interacting with me and they feel that God-like energy inside what I've done, that's it, I did my job. And they say, wow, I want to be like that. So it doesn't matter if it's a street cleaner, a plumber, a CEO of a big corporation, a prime minister, or it doesn't matter, parliament member, it doesn't matter. Finally, humanity has to reach that place. God created you in a certain feature, certain structure. You're not going to be complete. You're not going to be satiated. You're not going to feel real internal rest unless you reach that place that whatever you're good at, it's going to be really fulfilling when you do it as a priest in a temple, in God's temple, big temple. We start to realize that, the whole world is a global village. No, it's not a global village. It's a global temple. Each individual is part of that big team. And each person must finally reach that place in which they bring in that light of the creation they are responsible for, because if they don't do it, who will do it? Who will do it? So you have to do it again and again till you do it right, till you really fulfill your mission, which is to sanctify whatever you do. So therefore, if you have a plumber or a CEO or a banker and they curse and they keep blaming the whole world and be upset, whatever, they're not there yet. They're not there yet. So either you can inspire them to do their job properly, or stay away from them because they're not there yet. And today, because it's a market economy, you don't have to work with people like this. You can always look for others that do it better, that really do it as a mission. It could be like your insurance agent, it could be like your mechanic, doesn't matter. You have to look for these people. These are the people that really got it. And how the ones that don't do it will get it? Because nobody will come and take the service. Because it's not holy. It's not holy. Why? Can you, a mechanic can be holy? Yes. Sometimes you come to a place fixing cars and everything is neat, everything is real. You really feel that people there respect the car, respect other people's money, other people's possession, because it's all God's light. That's it. That's what the Torah is teaching us. That's what the Torah is teaching us. How do you see it in the text? So the Zohar says, the first thing you notice when you read Parashat Tetsaveh, by the way, the word Tetsaveh means you will order. Ve'ata Tetsaveh. It says the grammatical structure of this parasha is so different than the rest of the parashot. Because if we go to Parashat Truma, well, let's go like a few verses backwards, before Tetsaveh. On chapter 27 in Exodus, verse 37, Ve'asita lamasach, and you should do the curtain. Okay? Then the next verse is chapter 27, verse 1, Ve'asita tamizbeach, and you should do the altar. Okay? Verse 2, Ve'asita karnotav, you should do the corners of the corners, karnot, of the altar. And then verse 3, Vasita sirotav, and you should do, and it's like again, Vasita, verse 4, Vasita, verse 5, Venatata, and you should give. It's all this way. But in Parashat Tetsaveh, Ve'ata Tetsaveh bnei Israel, and you should order, command the children of Israel, and they should take for you this and this. And then that's the first verse of Parashat Tetsaveh, which is Exodus 27, verse 20. Now, in few verses later, chapter 28, verse 1, Ve'ata hakrev elecha. Okay? Over there it was Ve'asita, Ve'natata. Here, Ve'ata hakrev, Ve'ata tetzaveh. Okay? Ve'ata tedaber, that's verse 3. Ve'ata tedaber. Why is this grammatically shift? And the Zohar says that's a shift in consciousness. Why? Says the Zohar like this. Why Ve'ata, all of this? What is Ve'ata? And you should. Okay? But that's English. English was not created for the Bible. Okay? How many translations do we have of the Bible into English? Dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds, right? How come? Because every translation is a commentary. How many, by the way, Hebrew texts are there for the Bible? One. 34 centuries that there's only one text to the dot, right? Jews argue about everything. They don't argue about the text. The text is equal. It doesn't matter if you came from Yemen, from Lithuania, from Russia, from Morocco, the same text, 300,000 letters of the 5 books of Moses. Everybody agrees on the same text. A miracle. 3,400 years, and everybody copied it by hand, and it's all identical. That's a miracle. Okay? Just whoever was in the printing business or in publishing business, to get a book without any typo, any typing mistakes, it's impossible, right? And there's a book that for 34 centuries is the same text. Okay? Now, so here we see, it says Ve'ata, and he's asking this question. It was not my idea. It's a Zohar idea. To us, why is this change of grammatical structure? What does it mean? If there's a change like this, it means something. And the answer is because Hakolu Besod Elyon, it's all a divine special secret. Kedei lichlol imo hashchina. So Moses, or the person that is doing it, can include with his action the Shekhinah. Who is the Shekhinah? Okay, let's go back. We said this world is a vessel Everything in this world is a vessel, empty vessel, waiting for the light of God to dwell in it. The light of God is the shochen, the dweller. But when the light dwells into something and it gives it like an aura of a meaning that was not there before. There's a house and there's a home, right? There's a table, which is just like a flat something on a leg or 4 legs, 3 legs, 6 legs, but there is a table that you do holy stuff on it, right? What gives that special meaning? The human attention and intention. When you move into a new house and you put a mezuzah on the doorpost, what do? You say, "Asher kichanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu likbor mezuzah." Okay? What are you saying that? With these words, you're doing abracadabra. Because abracadabra is Hebrew. I create with my speech. That's what abracadabra means in Hebrew. So, before that it was just a space. Now it's a holy space. Because I just put the sim, right? And now the house is online with the holy system, with the holy network. The whole thing is right now online, beaming with the light of the Creator. Now, the next Friday afternoon, close to sunset, you light Shabbat candles. So what do? You say the bracha, שקידשנו מצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat. What do? Now the whole house is now not just on the network, it's now the whole house is rising and coming up into the network of Shabbat. Every atom in the house changes its frequency just by lighting the Shabbat candles. It will never be the same house anymore. It's a home for the light. What does it mean? Before that, it was just bricks and mortar, right? Plywood and sheetrock. Now, it is a home for the light. That's called Shekhinah, the divine presence. It's a dwelling for the light, Shekhinah. The dweller is the shochen, the light. Who made it? Human consciousness. Human consciousness. You shop for Shabbat. You take something from off the shelf and you say, Lichvot Shabbat Kodesh. This is honor of the holy Shabbat. By just saying that, you voice activating the holiness within that food. Now, it's not the same food anymore. It's not the same food anymore. Yeah, you can see now on the internet a lot of people showing that when you bless water or cooked rice, the rice and whatever, they change the frequency. Mm-hmm. They don't get rotten that fast when you do it with happiness. So can you imagine? Not just when you say nice thing to rice or to any food, you just connect it to the light of God. It becomes part of the Shekhinah. Okay? What's the symbol for the Shekhinah? Says the Zohar, Ata. Wrongly translated as you. But in a blessing, Ata, says the Zohar, this is Aleph to Taf, at Aleph Taf, Aleph to Taf, A to Z, to the Hey. We know the Hey from Parashat Tumah. This is the Hey you're raising. Okay, how do you raise it? Ve'ata. What is the Vav? The Vav is the light of the Creator. This is the pipe that connects us to the light of the Creator. So what do? Ve'ata. Whoops. You take a physical, meaningless thing. It means to me, it's like it's food. No. It becomes meaningful in the mission of humanity. To sanctify, glorify reality. Bringing the light of God into it. How? Ve'ata Tetsaveh. When you say the words of holiness, you are ordering the light of God into the apple, the house, the candle, anything you touch, anything you deal with. you are creating a new reality. It's like there's offline reality and online reality. Which part of it do you want to be? Okay? Whose job is it? You are the priest. Just by your words, your intention, your heart. You make it happen. So why it's Tetsaveh? Tetsaveh, you will order. You are ordering it. You are the one that orders the light in. So now let's go to the next step. Okay? A lot of people, we spoke about it with a slave mentality, a pagan mentality. When they pray to God, it's like, oh God, don't hurt me. Oh God, how can I appease you? Oh God, I don't deserve it, but how can I give you a gift so you're just not going to make my child sick? Stuff like this. How many people do you know, and sometimes very intimately, that's how they relate to God? It's like, what do you think? God has nothing else to do, just to look for you, to find you, making a mistake, and it's like an old nasty man. You know these old people that are so bitter, they're just looking, I got you. You're not doing it right. Oh, God is very old. This is paganism. This is paganism. There's no God like this. There's endless, loving light. That whatever you do, you can't change it. So if God is so good, why is that I don't see the light in this and this and this, A, B, C, D, E, 1, 2, 3, 4, these aspects in my life? Because you have to order it in. Not with apology, not with guilt, not with I don't deserve it. You have to order it in. Only when you have that certainty that more than I want it in, the light wants it in. More, as the sages were saying, we bring it all the time, more than the calf wants to suck the milk, his mother cow wants to feed him. And that is being said about the Creator. You think that God doesn't want to give you, it's like, God, why me? Why don't you give me money, health, this and that? Okay, it's like, God is not a grocery store. He's not a supermarket. He's not Amazon that you're ordering stuff. No, it doesn't work this way. You're ordering stuff because that's your mission. That space will stay in the dark till you order the light in. What means to order the light in? When you feel that you have the right, that it's your job. When you have the certainty that that's what you have to do. That's why it's Tetsaveh. You should order it. Who orders? Who gives the orders? Whoever has the entitlement, the right, the feeling that that's the way it's supposed to be, whoever does it with certainty. Because if you say, okay, God, if you want, maybe you should, it's okay. Tell me something, do you want it or not? I'm not so sure, I don't know if I have some guilt, I was not perfect in the past. Hello? Do you want it or not? That's what Tetsaveh. You can't be a priest and you're not so sure about it. I don't know if I can bring the light in. I don't know if I can make it happen. I don't know if I can make it lit. I can make it positive. I don't know. I don't know if I'm entitled. I don't know if, I have so much guilt about... Okay, of course you have guilt. Why do you have guilt? Because you're so busy having guilt, you don't have time to make it happen. You can't just have guilt and make things happen at the same time. You have to choose, who do you want to be? Are you still enslaved to Egypt? Are you still with Pharaoh as your master? And your Pharaoh says, you can't have it, you'll never have it. This sound inside? It will never happen. Forget it. You're not good enough. You're not righteous enough. God hates you. He doesn't like you. He's going to smite you. You're not supposed to have it. You're supposed to be a victim for the rest of your life. You have to choose which voice you're listening to. Assume, position, and make it happen. Oh, is it easy? No, it's not. This is the hardest thing in the world. To reach the place of Tetsaveh. So, because when you come to that place, if you do it from that place, as Rabbi Ashlag geniusly, it's explaining very, very simple. When you really get yourself used to serving the purpose of the light, not your ego, not your little whims, upset, and tiny desires for all kinds of little tiny stuff. When you really get yourself used to, I want it to happen because it has to be, because that's God's will. Has to be. Has to be that things will work. You know, when you do things with that consciousness, things happen. It's just like, wow, I can't believe it's going to work. But people do have it when sometimes, under a lot of stress, you forget to have guilt. You forget to feel that I'm not righteous enough. You just want to make it happen. You know what? When you do that, because you really want to do it out of, what's the secret? Rabbi Ashlag explains, when it's a desire to receive for the sake of sharing. You don't just want it for yourself. You want it because that's the way it should be. It's right. You need to help that person. Yeah, but I'm not Moses. Yeah, but I'm a doctor and I need to help him. Right now it's emergency and I don't have time for this nonsense. So I did it. Now I look like, wow, that's impossible what I did. Why did you do it? Because you ordered the light in. You just thought about the patient and you forgot about the me, about the guilt, about the worthiness, about how professional I am. You just did it because it has to happen. That's why we need to train ourselves to be always in a state of sharing and caring and giving unconditionally. Because little by little, we train ourselves to be there for others, and the others could be humanity. Just making the world a little bit better when you order the light in. So that's why you hear, let's go back to Jewish writings. You go to the Tanakh, and there was this case with Joshua. There was a fight. There's a war with those kings. Mm-hmm. And sunset was coming. It looks like we're not going to finish the job. And Joshua says, Shemesh begivon dom. Let the sun stand still above Givon. And the sun was standing. Because he didn't think I'm worthy. What, am I big enough as Moses or not? He didn't have time to think like this. The job had to be done. So he asked for the power to do it. It happened because he ordered the sun. He didn't beg, please sun, stand, or please God, make the sun stand. Shemesh begivon dom. 3 words. Let the sun stand. Poof, stands. Elijah the prophet, when he makes the rain to come or the rain stop, he just gives an order. When Choni, the circle maker, we're talking now about 1st century CE, and he was such a righteous person, he was such a loving person, but he wasn't himself. And then when there was a drought, and then the government will come to Choni and say, Choni, there's no rain, people are starving. Choni said, you're right, yeah? What can we do? So, bring the rain. So Choni comes out of the house, he takes his staff, makes a circle, and says, God, if it's not raining, I'm not getting out of this circle. So it started to drop. So that's not rain. Rain! So heavy rain, like flood. So this is dangerous. No. Rain. He had to kind of calibrate it. Okay, now I can go back home. Guys, you ready? Is everything okay? Okay, I'm going back home because I have some stuff to do. In many religions, this is blasphemy. Can a human being order God to serve a purpose, to do something? Can you order God? And here, what the Torah is saying, not that you can, you're supposed to. God is just waiting. Now, God says, oh, thank God, finally, you want it. You have no doubt. You really want it, and you don't want it for yourself alone. Finally, here you have it. Because these are the rules. When you want something for the purpose of helping the world to become better, no one can say no. Of course, God won't say no. Yeah, but that's a chutzpah. That's a good chutzpah. It's like you're doing it as part of the family. God is part of my family. We're all one. So, God, I know you see everything, but you're waiting for me to say abracadabra. So I'm saying abracadabra. Let that happen. Okay, it happens. That is what certainty is about. That we are certain that more than we want it to be good, the Creator wants it to be good. He's waiting for us to give the space for it to become good. And that's the whole thing. Tetsaveh, vata. Every time we say it with the consciousness, by doing that, I'm connecting the heaven and the earth. And I'm making that space that I'm part of a space for the light to dwell in, which is called the Shekhinah. So, when we have the garments of the high priest, the breastplate, it's all about how do I order the light to come in. And when you are online with the light, that's a breastplate, it's a wisdom. So suddenly you know what to do. You know what to say. It's all going with that state of mind that good has to happen. How? I just have to want it enough. It's never a problem with God that He doesn't want to give it to me. It's always the problem that I'm not so sure I deserve it. You're not so sure? So make it that you deserve it. Work for it. Make the effort. And that's why the Mishnah is saying in Ethics of the Fathers, Yagata umatzata tamin. You do the effort, you do your best, and God will do the rest. Why? The moment you did your best, you are the best. That means God will, He will complete it. He will match it. He will match it. You meant this, but He knows you want it to become better. So it will come from this way. Then that's why matzata. It will be a find. It's like, where is this coming from? You made the effort. What happens when you make the effort? You go online. What happens when you go online? The breastplate is starting to shine. It's not on this address, it's that address. It's not that product, it's another product. You don't do it this way, and suddenly you know what to do. How do you know what to do? You just want enough. You will know what to do. Don't try to give it an explanation. The biggest moves in history of science happen like that. You start going to the right, and then you find yourself going upwards. I didn't know I should look, but I tried my best. Why? Because I had a certainty that it should be good. It will be good. God wants it to be good. I just have to become the mediator. I have to just bring it in. I have to order it in. So that's assumed position. Now, so what's a connection? Parashat Tetsaveh and Parashat Zakhor. Zakhor et asher asa lecha Amalek. Remember what the Amalek did to you. What is Amalek? In numerical value, 240, which is safek, doubt. Asher karcha baderech. And there's also, what's karcha baderech? Karcha from kirarcha. When you want to do something with meaningless, with meaning, that's going to make the world better. You know what? At least my little part of the world is going to make it more enlightened. You need enthusiasm. You need excitement. You need faith. And then comes Amalek. That's a little voice inside that says, it's not going to work. Why are you trying so hard? What for? Other people tried before and they didn't make it. Why do you think you should make it? That's called asher kacha b'derech. He makes you cold. You were so hot about doing it. And he got you cold. Who got you cold? The doubt. People will laugh at me. It's a waste of time. You know, the big winners are the ones who didn't let the Amalek to make it cold. It's all about making it big and hot. Excitement. When you really revere the light and the purpose of your existence, you kill the Amalek. You destroy the Amalek. Because that Amalek is that part that, why should I bother? Why, how far can you go without it? You're cold, your engine is dead. You're just stuck somewhere on the sideway and you'll rot over there till something will come and give you a kick and will force you to fight for your life. Not this lifetime, another lifetime. This is the biggest enemy. Why is that? Every time we read it, the Shabbat before Purim. Purim, what was the story? You could say what can you do? It's the end. It's the end. The end, that was a decree by the king's signet to kill all the Jews in 127 states in the Persian Empire. And Esther the queen says, why are you crying to Mordechai? Get up! Get them together! We'll change it! How? She says, I don't care. We'll try. We'll try, but first you have to get people united. Lech knos et kol haYehudim. Now, you could no, they can't. It's like they don't like each other. It's not going to work. That's Amalek. But Mordechai was that light that gives, and it's in the parasha. That's pure light. In Aramaic, Mordechai means pure light. That's the pure light that if you connect to it, that's it. You're online. You do anything possible till it happens. And the impossible will happen, and in one hand, you'll be surprised. On the other hand, it's can't be different. Because you push the button, it's going to work, right? That's the certainty we get on this Shabbat. Who doesn't need that certainty? That's why it says, if you miss Shabbat, Torah reading, if you're a woman and a child, can get by. If you're a man, it's not such a terrible thing. There are worse things than that. But on Shabbat Zakhor, no one. You come on a stretcher. But you have to listen to the reading of the Torah of Shabbat Zakhor. Because remembering, connecting to that, Zakhor means to remember, it means also male. To the male energy of the light, giving, unconditionally, and you win. Thank you.